So what we are going to do is go through the instructions for our making a GIF project. So what you'll need to do is open up the Friday folder. On there, you'll find the directions. It says directions, mitosis GIF project. Open those up for the directions. We're going to go through how this is going to be accomplished here. What we're going to do is basically make a digital flip book showing all the different phases of mitosis and how it transforms itself from one phase into the next. Except at the end, we're going to turn it into one of those little moving picture dealios. That's called a GIF. If you think about it, it's that dog picture that was on the notes the other day where you got one dog and all of a sudden, boop, there's two dogs. That is what the GIF thing is, if you've never heard of what a GIF is before. So it's moving picture things. So what you're going to do, you're going to end up drawing a bunch of pictures for this. There's going to be 3 pictures per step. So if you think of each one of our steps, we've already drawn the steps out. We drew out interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. What we are going to do is fill in the gap from one phase to the next and kind of show it progressing from one thing to the other. So if I go back to our pictures here, what's going to be happening is that, so let's say this is interphase. We're going to try to go from interphase to prophase. What you are going to have to do is, let me add in a couple more here with that. Oh, I'm still in the, there we go. I was still in the zoom mode. There we go. That'll work. What we'll end up doing, so like this would be your picture to end interphase. What you're going to do is then show how interphase is going to start to go into prophase. So how you could start to do that would be like, since one of the things that happens from interphase to prophase is that the nucleus starts disappearing, you could start showing the nucleus starting to disappear. Remember at the end of prophase, we got it fully kind of dotted line there. So you can kind of start to show it a little bit. We can add in kind of our centrioles starting to be there, because remember they're kind of moving towards the opposite sides. We kind of have some of the chromosomes start forming, but not all of them yet, so maybe half of it's still there, and maybe some of the chromosomes start forming. Basically, we're showing the transition from one to the other. So however you can make that happen, that is how we are progressing things in there. So that's essentially what we are going to end up doing, and it'll walk us through each one of the phases and kind of show what is happening through the different phases here. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can draw it up on paper, or you can use one of your little artistic apps that's on your iPad, and you can do that and take screenshots. You will need a separate picture for each one of these steps. So if you're drawing it on paper, you do need 15 different drawings on there. If you're using a digital means, you are going to need to draw 15 different things digitally, or maybe you can, take the screenshot and then start to erase and change things on there, however you decide to do it. But there needs to be 15 unique drawings on there. And to know what parts you need to draw and what you should be drawing for each one, down below in the directions, we have this giant chart. And in this chart, the highlighted sections are the drawing sections. The ones that are just left white, those are ones that are already made for you. You can tweak. You'll have to change where it says name here on the document. You'll have to make your name there. All that kind of stuff. You can play around with the fonts if you want. But the orange ones are the ones that are going to have a drawing to it. And as you can see here, we give you a little bit about what you're doing for it. So you're showing how a cell will start out. You're showing it progressing to get to the picture of interphase. And they're grouped up into 3s because you're drawing 3 things for each one of the phases. The third and final picture should basically be something similar to what is in your notes. So the final picture, a part of your phase, is something very similar to what you have in your notes. So that is kind of what your goal is. So the toughest part may be starting out here today because you got to draw interphase before it actually gets to interphase. But if you think about what's happening in there, interphase, there's not really too much happening besides that it's growing. So maybe you're starting out with a smaller cell and just showing how it grows bigger and bigger and bigger until it reaches that full size at the very end. And then you'll start in showing how it'll transition into prophase, kind of as I modeled there. As you're doing the pictures, it might be helpful to take a picture and put it on the slideshow as you're going, because what all these things are going to go into is a slideshow. So I'm going to have you go ahead and go back to Schoology, and I want you to open up the assignment mitosis GIF. And there's already a document for you there, because we gave you a nice little template for you to fill out that already has the correct number of slides in it and is wide open for you to create. So obviously, I got it up on the board here. Obviously, where it says name here, you'll want to change that to your name. When it says the name of the phase, you'll need to keep the name of the phase there. You can change up the font and how it looks and deal with all that stuff, make it kind of personalized for your own, but you still need the phase there. And then here's where you'll put your pictures. Picture 1, 2, 3. Then it goes into the next phase. 1, 2, 3. And you're showing how it goes from one phase into the next, until you get to the end of telophase. And as we looked at with the end of telophase, you'll have 2 cells at the end of it. The goal for today is to get started with this. So the goal I have is to try to get from interphase to prophase, or at least to get, however you want to do it, if you want to do another transition. Basically, I want you to do one of the phases today, and it's 3 pictures. Because what is going to then happen on Monday, you're going to do 2 more phases. On Tuesday, you're going to do your final 2 phases. So we're going to start out with just trying to do 1 today. Then we'll do 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. And then I'm going to show you how to turn this into a GIF next week. Because we have a website that we can use that all we have to do is upload a slideshow, and it will make it a little rotating, moving picture for us. And it'll be like a little digital flip book where it'll show you transitioning from one phase to the other. And we had it working last week, which looked pretty cool when we had it all set up, ready to go there. I'm not going to show you yet because I don't want to give you ideas. I want you to create this on your own, trying for you to figure it out on there. Questions, comments, concerns? If you want to use stuff in class here, I have paper over on the counter over there with some coloring supplies. You can always take a cup and grab some coloring supplies out of there. Just when you return the cup, just keep them all in the cup. That way I know how to spray them to put them back in the other ones beforehand. So the ones that are in the cup over there, don't take. Just take from the big old bucket because those ones are clean. If you do it digitally, you got everything on your iPad there. The goal, though, for today is to do 3 drawings showing from one phase to the next. If you want to start that out at the very beginning with interphase and showing how the cell will grow into its interphase part, that would work. If you want to start from prophase or interphase going into prophase, as I kind of modeled up there a little bit, you can do that as well. Just know which ones you would need to put that in when it comes to the slideshow there. But you can go ahead and start working if you haven't already. For those of you on the video, if you have any more questions, make sure that you email me. But those are kind of our instructions of going over how all this stuff works. So let me know if you have any issues.